Bishop Perry, officers of the convention, clergy, delegates, and visitors. It's my distinct pleasure to come before you today as I conclude my role as a fiduciary, conducting the business of the diocese while serving as the clergy representative from the Downriver Deanery on Diocesan Council. I wish to thank Bishop Bonney and the members of council for their support of the diocese, and I especially would like to recognize the members of the Mission and Budget Committee, Bruce Can, Steve Chisholm, Bruce Henkel, the Venerable Linda McDonald, and the Reverend Teresa Joaquin, with whom I've had the pleasure of serving throughout these 6 years. It is the function of the Mission and Budget Committee to assist and support the treasurer in assessing the financial status of the diocese and assist in the development of the operating budget for the upcoming year, while complying with the canons and timelines and assisting in making you, the church, part of the process. At last year's convention, I was concerned as to how I would be able to fill the shoes of the longtime chair of the Mission and Budget Committee, Claudia Hamlin, never once considering that we would find ourselves in the midst of a worldwide pandemic and life as we knew it would never be quite the same. On Saturday, May the 16th, the Mission and Budget Committee of Diocesan Council presented a resolution to suspend the canonical budget preparation timeline, given the uncertainties related to COVID-19 pandemic. The minutes from that meeting read in part, the Diocesan Council hereby resolves that the deadline dates as described in the diocesan canons for the development of a 2021 budget process be suspended for 2020-2021, and that the Mission and Budget Committee be granted a flexible timeline, allowing it the ability to proceed as expeditiously as possible as sound financial information becomes available in preparing a proposed budget for presentation to Diocesan Council for consideration, approval, and distribution to the congregations at a future date. On behalf of the Mission and Budget Committee, I am pleased to present to you our treasurer, Mark Miliotto, who comes to apprise you of the status of the budgeting process as it stands at this time. Thank you very much. Here's Mark.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you for your many years of service on this committee. It's been my privilege to work with you in developing budget for these 6 years. As Linda mentioned, Diocesan Council, realizing back in May the immense uncertainties related to the pandemic, knew that we would not be able to generate an accurate budget this summer like we normally do. Normally, we would have been soliciting apportionment pledges in August and finalizing the budget in September in advance of our October convention, but that wasn't able to happen this year. Instead, we, the Mission and Budget Committee of Diocesan Council, come to you this convention with an update on the process, but not yet a proposed budget. Last week, we started the budget process by distributing the apportionment pledge letters to each congregation in the diocese with a request that commitments be returned to the Diocesan Finance Office by the end of November. While the collection of those pledges is happening, Mission and Budget will be reviewing other areas of the budget, some of which are already set, but most of which will depend on how the apportionment pledges come in. So let's take a quick look at the numbers. Starting on the revenue side, we have 4 primary lines of operating revenue, 2 of which are set. Dividends and interest, we know will be $536,000. We know that because the dividend rate for 2021 is already set. Well, we also know our perpetual trust income will be level at $225,000. We don't know contributions, but expect that's probably going to be in the $2,000 range as it has been for many years. But the big unknown at this point is 2/3 of our revenue budget, and that is the apportionment pledges. Last year, or the current year, 2020, that total is $1,589,000. So the total budget current is $2,342,000. At this point, the only known thing is the dividends, which are up about $10,000. Moving on to expenses. We do have a couple of knowns. We do know that healthcare costs, the premium for healthcare is up on average about 5% in 2021. We also know inflation is on the order of 1%. It is always our priority, one of our priorities, to make sure that our staff salaries stay at least as high as inflation, and we do that with a cost of living adjustment. So that will be a high priority, is trying to incorporate at least a cost of living adjustment of about 1%. We do know that property and liability insurance is up about 3%. And another high priority for us is to maintain our full 15% assessment to the Episcopal Church, and also our corresponding assessment to Province 5. We do know what those numbers will be in 2021, and that is about a $4,000 increase. So once we have the apportionment pledge totaled in and we've got solid numbers, hopefully by the end of November, we will begin filling in the unknowns on the expense side of our ledger. As I mentioned, cost of living adjustments, but also program and administrative expenses we will be looking at. Once a draft and balanced budget is completed, it will be presented to Diocesan Council for approval as soon as possible after the pledges are in, and the approved budget will be distributed to all members of convention and all congregations as our canons require. If anyone has any questions or comments about this budget process, please don't hesitate to contact me at the Diocesan Finance Office. I thank you for your time.